This is CBS 6 This Morning Weekend.
Ooh, that's beautiful as we take a look at the sunrise over Petersburg downtown into Colville Country. Enjoy it while it lasts because that skyline's going to look a lot darker come this time 24 hours from now. But for those of you who like longer days and later sunset, well, this weekend, once you had circled on your calendar for months because it is going to be glorious, especially with this guy's forecast.
You lose an hour of sleep tonight, but we want you back up at 6 a.m. tomorrow. Pretty please with sugar on top.
Hour to bed earlier tonight for us.
Yeah, that's true. So
we lose it.
So I'm going to bed more like 6:30 or 7 tonight.
If you think these bags are bad, wait till you see tomorrow.
We got tons of luggage.
Louis Vuitton luggage in this guy.
No, bargain basement.
Hey, man.
Tourister.
It is going to be a glorious day, right?
Yeah.
Over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, you know what? We're going to have temperatures around 60 today and tomorrow. There will be a few more clouds a little bit later on this morning into early this afternoon. Okay. One or two of us may see a sprinkle, but it's not going to be a big deal. Most of us will stay dry today. But we showed you the Petersburg shot. Let me get out of the way. And you can see there's a lovely sunrise over Richmond International. Sun's been up almost a full half hour now. And temperatures look as such. We have a mix of 30s and 40s. It's 34 in Louisa right now, 40 officially at the airport, also in Kilmarnock, 37 in Tappahannock and Fredericksburg, and 39 in Emporia. This time yesterday, we were in the 20s to around 30, so a lot of us are up at least a few degrees, and there is a light breeze outside, so it is producing a light wind chill. Cold front's going to come through today. That'll scare up a few extra clouds later this morning in the first part of the afternoon, and there may be enough moisture with it to cause an isolated shower, a couple sprinkles in a few spots, but again, a lot of us will stay dry. Make it up to around 60 in the metro. We'll stay in the 50s north and west. We'll have some low and mid 60s farther south and west, and some wind gusts over 20 miles an hour are possible. There will be some accumulating snow in the mountains of West Virginia today. We're watching this system in the plains. That's going to buzz by us to the south on Monday, but some of us might see some rain. I'll talk about that in some warmer days coming up. Greg?
Michael, thank you. A family member is breaking their silence after a man was shot by police on Melbourne Street Thursday night. Crime Insider John Burkett has the details and also shares the voice of a longtime neighbor who called 911 after the shooting.
The man shot by two Richmond police officers continues to recover at a local hospital while police this afternoon released more details about what happened during the traffic stop. Detectives and forensics back on scene Friday night. Less than 24 hours after the 2600 block of Melbourne Street is taped off and longtime resident Laverne Carter was on the phone with a 911 dispatcher.
And she asked me how many shots were there. I said about maybe 5, 6, and they were all in a row.
Carter had no idea it would be police responsible for those shots. RPD saying two of their first precinct officers were pulling a car over because it was reported stolen, adding the driver of the car stepped out and would not comply with the two officers' commands. Police say the driver then turned his body away in reach for his waistband, then raised his arms toward police. The two officers fired their service weapons.
I'm sure they don't come on the job wanting to have to shoot someone or injure someone or someone pass as a result of a shooting, but it has to have some effect on them as well, and plus they take it home, it has to affect their families, so it trickles down, plus the neighbors, the people that see it and hear it,
The man has non-life-threatening injuries. Police have determined he was unarmed as they could not find a weapon in the car or on scene. The car he was in, police say, belongs to a family member. Hanover deputies had it in the system as unauthorized use and taken from the 10,300 block of Shelley Lee Drive. And in a bizarre twist, a family member confirms the man's lengthy criminal record and that he had been shot just last year, too. We are not identifying him because he's yet to be charged in this case. But he's on the road to recovery again. His family hoping this is finally the end of what they call his street life. And along with the community, praying he makes better choices.
Why do you want to continue to go in the wrong path, lead a wrong life, Well,
the man shot by police has not been charged yet. The two officers are on paid administrative leave pending the outcome of the use of force investigation. Also, we're told by police this case will be sent for review to the Commonwealth Attorney's Office. John Burkett, CBS 6 News.
Later this morning, you and a four-legged friend can head down to the War Memorial. The Heilman Amphitheater will be the site of the 3rd annual .9 Canine Dog Walk beginning at 10 a.m. The walk will commence for .9 kilometers, or a little more than a half mile, around the memorial grounds. The point of the walk is to honor the work and sacrifices of service dogs, from those on the battlefield of war to those in our own neighborhoods. The race and walk free, but you do need to register ahead of time. The A10 Women's Basketball Tournament Championship is underway at the Henrico Sports and Events Center for the 2nd straight year. And that is where we find our own hardwood Houdini, Antoinette Essa, where the action will be later this morning. You're getting your shots in already this morning, Antoinette.
Greg, I had to take a break. I was out of breath, and that's how bad it is. So I had to take a break from my layoffs and my three-point shot, and just leave it to the experts and the professionals who you'll see today at 11 and at 1:30. And of course, another expert is here, and another professional, Dennis Bigmeyer, is the executive director here. What an amazing spot you have, and for the 2nd year in a row, the A10. This is huge, Dennis.
It is. We're so happy to have the A10 Women's Basketball Championship back here in our community, and 2 great matchups today, and obviously one of our local teams, the University of Richmond, at 11 o'clock.
I was going to get to that. I mean, are we excited or are we excited?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, just women's basketball overall is just on this amazing trajectory, and so much focus on women's basketball. And you come out here to the Henrico Sports and Event Center, you're going to see some great competition today.
Yeah, so Richmond takes on St. Joseph's at 11, right?
Yes, yeah.
And then at 1:30, you have Davidson and George Mason, which is, George Mason too.
Just right up the road.
Right up the road. So
what's really interesting is Richmond and George Mason men play tonight over at the Robbins Center. So you get a doubleheader of basketball today.
And who said March Madness started late in March? It started on Wednesday.
Well, absolutely, because there's a lot on the line for this tournament as well.
Yeah.
So the winner of this tournament gets an automatic bid to the NCAA basketball tournament. And again, all the focus is on March Madness throughout this month.
And we're so excited. I want to talk more about it when we come back in our 7:30, plus a chance to win $30,000. But what does it mean for this city? I mean, it's such an impact.
Well, yeah, our entire community and our partners at Richmond Region Tourism work with us to bring the A10 tournament here to our community.
Yeah.
But certainly with all the teams coming in and their fans filling up hotel rooms, eating in restaurants, the economic impact is well over $1 million. It's pushing almost to $1.5 million annually, and we know we can grow that as well.
And when we come back, we'll talk more about that, plus how you can come and sign up, register to win $30,000 towards a car. We'll tell you all about that, plus show you the championship trophy. That's all coming up in our next half hour. Back to you, Greg.
All right, Antoinette, thanks so much. Looking forward to the next hit at 7:30. We appreciate it. Okay, Michael, big day, because we're springing forward with the Bucks.
yeah, that's tonight. Sunrise this morning at 6:30. Tomorrow's going to be 7:29 for our sunrise.
Oh, love it.
But so let's focus on this gorgeous shot we have right now from our Petersburg camera. There's the courthouse. We're going to see a mix of clouds and sun today. A couple of us may see a sprinkle. We're going to talk about that, as well as a warm-up for the week ahead. That's all coming up next.
All right, Michael, thanks so much. Home to the crocodile, manatee, and panthers. Oh, my. That is Mike Stone's backyard with plenty of. Don't you have a little airboat tour down there, don't you?
I subscribe to a few slips down there. I rent some motorcrafts.
Come on.
Every style, every color, every size, every season. There's something for everyone at Colesville Nursery off I-95 in Ashland.
I was with my dad and we ended up in a car accident. I couldn't take more than about 5 steps. It was heartbreaking. I'm big into racing and everything, and it's what I'm going to college for. And I mean, the thing I've dedicated my life to, I almost didn't have. And I definitely think that without the therapy here, I wouldn't have been able to do that.
There are hard days in nursing, and then to be able to see him get to go home and pursue his dreams, it's really sweet.
I would not be where I am today without Sheltering Arms.
Slow or clogged drains? Call the family of Michael & Son today and get a free estimate on any drain clearing. Our licensed plumbing professionals use the latest in drain clearing technology to get through the toughest clogs. Get same-day service by calling Michael & Son and get to the root of your problem with a free estimate on any drain clearing today at 800-948-MIKE or visit michaelandson.com.
If you can't, we can. Michael & Son.
I'm Cheryl Miller. Join us Saturday mornings for Battle of the Brains this week, featuring the Dolphins of Ocean Lakes High School in Virginia Beach and the Saints of St. Christopher School in Richmond. Watch Battle of the Brains Saturday mornings at 10 on CBS 6.
What's in a name? At Closets by Design, everything. You tell us the style, functionality, and look you want, and we'll design a beautiful master closet for your home. All this month, save 40% and an additional 15%. Plus, get 12 months interest-free financing, plus get free installation. Call or visit closetsbydesign.com to take advantage of this very special offer. When you think closets, think Closets by Design.
What? What's that? Corned beef? Ooh, melty stuff. Sauerkraut? Plus Thousand Island? On special bread? Oh, got it. That's Arby's Reuben. Arby's, we have the meats.
Coverage of the A10 tournament in D.C. on CBS 6 with Lane and Sean. Brought to you by the DMV, reminding you to plan a sober ride.
And welcome back. Just click over to 710. Sun's been up for 40 minutes here, and a beautiful shot over at the airport right now where we have a mostly sunny sky. Current temperature's 40 out there. The winds are pretty light out of the southwest at 5, but that's just enough to make it feel like 37 degrees currently. So the sun rose at 6:30 today. It'll set tonight at 6:10. We spring forward the clocks tonight 1 hour at 2 a.m. So tomorrow's sunrise is at 7:29, and tomorrow's sunset is at 11 minutes past 7 o'clock. Low cold front is sneaking through the area right now. We have a mix of 30s and 40s across the region currently, and some cool air is going to try to come in behind this front during the day today, but it's going to be kind of a slow progress. So we're still going to make it up close to about 60 in the metro, a little bit cooler to the north and west. There's some moisture off to our west in the state of West Virginia. They may see a little bit of accumulating snow in the mountains out there. For us, though, we have just some scattered clouds across the region right now, and during our day today, some clouds will increase as we go into the late morning, first half of the afternoon. There could be a sprinkle or two, and then this afternoon, highs will range from the 50s to north and west to around 60 in the metro, and areas to the far south and southwest could get up to about 65, like out by Danville and South Hill. For this evening, temperatures will start dropping through the 40s, and tomorrow morning we'll be in the upper 20s and low 30s with a mostly sunny sky. A few clouds stream in later tomorrow, but I think we'll have a mostly sunny day with highs in the upper 50s and low 60s. On Monday, a storm system is going to go to our south, and that may bring some rain up into southern Virginia, especially near Route 58 points southward. It'll cause more cloudiness and a little bit more of an easterly wind. So we're shaving the high on Monday a little bit. May even have to go a little bit cooler depending on the exact track of that system. That one buzzes on by, and then we just kind of see a mix of clouds and sun for the rest of the week. A couple fronts will pass by. One on Thursday could give us an isolated shower, but the rain chances for the next 7 days are really low. Around 60 today and tomorrow, some low and mid 60s on Monday, low 70s on Tuesday. On Wednesday, a high around 75 will be near 80 south and west, but 50s at the coast as a little backdoor cold front sweeps in. We'll still be in the upper 60s to some low 70s heading into next weekend. So about a 10 and 20% chance of an isolated shower or sprinkle today. Most of us will stay dry. More clouds on Monday with a shower across South Virginia. Maybe just a slight chance of a shower Thursday, but a lot of us getting through the next 7 days rain-free.
We love to hear it. Michael, thank you so much. It is proof that you can be any age and enjoy the beautiful chaos that is Mardi Gras. After the break, see the fashionable sights and hear the sounds of the Masquerade Ball held this past week at a Richmond Senior Center. It is 7:14. Welcome back. This past Tuesday marked Mardi Gras, the final day before the start of Lent, Christianity's 40-day season of prayer that culminates on Easter Sunday. And the festive spirit of the holiday made its way up to a Richmond Senior Center. Photojournalist Will Hicks takes a trip to see Cedarville's Masquerade Ball.
Today we have the Mardi Gras Masquerade Ball. 100 people are in attendance.
Do we have to sign in or?
This is a great social opportunity for everyone. Something as simple as this can start friendships and make them feel comfortable as they go into their next journey of life.
I save all my party dresses. You never know. So we were invited to this ball in Venice, and it was 30 years ago. But I got this get-up going, and actually my skirt had another layer of like silvery netting, which rotted. And I had to rip it off to wear this.
Some flames coming back, or flames reignited. I serve them all the time. And I also catered for their, they had like a wedding here.
We were married 6 months, and who said it wouldn't last?
We were both widows. I told her I was looking for a dance partner, and she said she could dance to anything.
Anything.
And she can.
It's very inspiring. I can't wait to get to that part of like my life. It's important for younger people to be, exposed to an environment like this.
Don't make me tear up. People in this room are so much fun. They make aging look less scary. And I think that is just fantastic.
Fun with feathers and beads. Love it. Mike will have a check of your weekend forecast. He might be in a mask too. Who knows? Just 60 seconds.
Every great journey begins with a giant step. At Richard Bland College, that step can transform your life. So, don't hesitate. Embrace the challenge. Land at RBC. Here, you'll find the giant potential that lies within you. It's about sparking curiosity and igniting your passion. So, don't limit your potential. Blast off to Richard Bland College. Apply today.
RBC Cribs.
All the things you can do here, you can go walk to the lake and sit at the koi pond and look at the fishes.
Everything's just right here, kind of like in my backyard.
Nothing compares to our apartment-style living on campus at Richard Bland College of William and Mary.
My favorite thing is that we have our own kitchen.
RBC Cribs, your home away from home. Apply today.
It's 7:18. We have sunshine across the area now, but still some clouds mixing in from time to time. We have a mix of 30s and 40s across the region. For our day today, we're going to have a cloud-sun mix. We'll have more clouds later this morning in the first part of the afternoon, and there could be a sprinkle in a spot or two. A high averaging out around 60 will be in the 50s north and west, and some low and mid 60s south and west. And tonight we clear on out. We'll have a low near or below freezing, and we spring ahead the clocks at 2 a.m. to daylight saving time tomorrow. High of 61, low in the mid 60s on Monday. More clouds, a couple showers possible across south side Virginia. And then we have some warmer temperatures into the middle part of the week. A front may give us a shower late Thursday, but a lot of us will make it through the next 7 days dry. It looks like heading into next weekend, high 60s and 70s. Greg?
All right, Mike, thanks so much. It's 7:19. Of all the stories we've covered here on CBS 6, few have led to more passionate responses than banning cell phones in schools. Schools in Central Virginia aren't the only ones acclimating to a new life in the building. After the break, hear from students and teachers in a Northern Virginia school as they wrestle with the good that's coming with the ban and the concerns that remain. Welcome back. Across the country, more states and districts are banning cell phones in schools, and of course, it has been a hot button issue for months here in Central Virginia. Supporters argue getting rid of them removes distractions and can help address mental health concerns. But others worry the bans remove an important way for parents and students to communicate, especially in emergencies. Michael Yoshida shows us how one school in Arlington is adjusting as they look to keep device distraction down and student engagement up.
Good morning, everybody.
A high school in Arlington, Virginia, trying a new way to keep phones out of the classroom.
Pouches and IDs, everybody. Good morning.
At the start of each day,
And have out your pouches and IDs.
students now required to put their mobile devices in a magnet-locked pouch.
The smartphone was really a game changer.
With rising digital distractions posing problems in the classroom.
I was phone police every day.
Every 5 minutes, I would say, put your phone away, phones up, phones away,
yeah, it was a problem.
The pouches at Wakefield High are part of a pilot program as the school figures out the best way to follow a district and statewide ban on cell phones in schools. Across the country, 7 other states have passed similar policies, and 15 states, along with the District of Columbia, have introduced legislation for restrictions.
These types of bans have seen reductions in fights and improvements in mental health and student outcomes.
Still, a common concern is removing students' ability to reach their parents or call for help in an emergency. D.C. Council member Brooke Pinto says her bill, like others, has educational and health exceptions and allows other ways for parents and students to contact each other. But she adds,
in an emergency situation, the last thing we want our kids doing is looking down on their devices. We want them paying attention to the adult in the room, whether that's their teacher or their principal.
You open it up right here.
Despite some growing pains at Wakefield High,
my first thought was how I was going to get around it.
It was just crazy and hectic. Everybody was banging their phones, trying to open it.
There are also noticeable benefits.
It's not as bad as I thought. I think now with less distractions, I can kind of go more in depth on my work, more focused without any distractions.
But now, I force myself to listen.
Some, as teens will do, try to skirt the rules.
You know, pouching either fake phones or old phones or something with that same similar shape. But one of the benefits we're seeing is that they're still keeping their phones away during the day.
But it turns out, life without the world at your fingertips can still bring you someplace new.
I would say we're more talkative now. Like when we see each other, we can talk now because we don't have phones.
Now you actually have to go.
Yeah, now you actually got to go find the person and tell it to them in their face.
In Washington, I'm Michael Yoshida reporting.
7:25. It may be decades in his rearview mirror, but it's a moment that he never fails to touch his heart. A little later in my I Have a Story, meet the veteran from Louisa County who had a hand in U.S. military history a continent and ocean away. Plus, a major shakeup with Richmond officials 2 months after the water system failure that shook the region dry. How Mayor Avula is reacting to the resignation of one of his city's top leaders and how Richmonders are feeling.
This is CBS 6 This Morning Weekend.
All right, thanks so much for joining us. Welcome back. Mike, what's our day looking like? Because I'm actually looking ahead to those 70s that you were delivering earlier on that silver platter.
Yeah, it's going to warm up a little bit midweek. Today, we're going to have a mix of clouds and sun, but looks pretty nice outside. Sun's been up almost an hour now, and it's going to be a decent day. We are going to have a few more clouds later this morning into the early part of the afternoon, so we may have just a few mostly cloudy hours and the potential for a sprinkle, but a lot of us are going to stay dry across the region for today. Right now, we have a mix of 30s and 40s currently. There is a light wind outside, so in some areas we have an additional wind chill. Feels more like the 30s, even a little bit colder over there in Louisa right now. And there are some patchy clouds tracking through the area right now. There's a front to our north and west that's going to continue sinking southward, so we'll see a little increase in clouds. Maybe a shower or sprinkle in kind of like the 11 to 3 time frame today. But high temperatures in the metro should be in the upper 50s, a few low 60s, but it will be a lot cooler north and west, low and mid 50s as you get towards Louisa and farther north and west. But go farther south and west, like Danville, South Hill, we might even make it up to about 64, 65 today. But then cooler air comes in this evening and tonight. This time tomorrow morning will be near or below freezing, but we'll also be looking at a later sunrise and sunset. We spring ahead tonight. We'll talk about that as well as some spring like temps in the 7-day forecast in just a few moments. Greg.
All right, Michael, thank you so much. There has been a shakeup at leadership at City Hall. On Thursday, one of the city's, Richmond's top leaders stepped down, all while a handful of new people stepped up to serve in Mayor Danny Avula's administration. Maggie Marshall shares how Richmonders are feeling with this new wave of leadership coming 2 months after the citywide water crisis.
The city says the Deputy Chief Administrative Officer of Human Services, Tracy DeShazer, put in her resignation. This marks the second high-ranking official to depart since the water crisis.
I am feeling like what has happened before the 2 months ago will come back again.
Some Richmonders are having to rebuild their trust in city leadership following January's water system failure.
I feel that they are not up to date on the things they need to be.
I don't have the confidence in it not happening again.
The crisis occurred during a transition of power in the city. Mayor Danny Avula had just been sworn in and had not set up his administration's leadership team. It left him leaning on some of former Mayor LeVar Stoney's leaders to get through the citywide emergency.
We are trying to move forward in an equitable approach.
Two of those top leaders have resigned since then. The city announced Deputy Chief Administrative Officer of Human Services Tracy DeShazer tendered her resignation Thursday, while Director of Public Utilities April Bingham resigned back in January. DeShazer oversaw the distribution of bottled water during the water crisis. She recently denied CBS 6's request to interview her about the logistics of the crisis, according to a city spokesperson. Mayor Avula responded to her resignation.
It was very sad to hear Tracy's news. She's fantastic. Tracy and I worked together in the Northam administration and have had some history together, and I was really bummed. She is fantastic and has been headhunted by a number of different organizations, and so it was not surprising.
The same day as the departure, the city announced new members of Avula's team. He appointed the Director of Office of Intergovernmental Affairs, Office of Strategic Communication, the Department of General Services, and the Department of Housing and Community Development. While some Richmonders welcome the changes,
it probably can because everybody has different opinions and different views.
Others remain skeptical.
I don't feel like putting someone new would have prevented the situation or is going to prevent it from happening again in the future. The city is going to be the city, so we just have to prepare ourselves.
DeShazer will continue her role until the end of March. The city says they will begin looking for her replacement in the coming days. In Richmond, I'm Maggie Marshall, CBS 6 News.
And as the third-party investigation into what led to the water plant failure continues, many of you have asked us why we haven't spoken to former Mayor LeVar Stoney about it. And the answer is we have. However, Stoney, who is currently running for lieutenant governor, has denied multiple requests for interviews. We asked Stoney's campaign manager for interviews on January 13th, January 15th, February 28th, and March 4th. On March 5th, Stoney's campaign manager, Zach Marcus, told us he wasn't sure they'd have time to talk about the water crisis. When we asked if that meant we won't ever have time, Marcus said not any time in the near future. But he did send a statement that says, in part, quote, budgets Mayor Stoney proposed and City Council adopted included funding for needed maintenance updates to the century-old water plant. For example, his last budget included more than $13.2 million in the CIP budget for the water plant for fiscal years 25 and 2029, in addition to other public utility projects. The FY 2024 budget included $56.6 million for the water plant. You can read Marcus's full statement on our website, WTVR.com. 7:34, we are just a few hours away from the semifinals of the A10 women's tournament. And both games today will have some Commonwealth representation, with Richmond taking on St. Joseph's and George Mason taking on Davidson. CBS 6's Charles Barkley. Antoinette Essa joins us live from the Henrico Sports and Events Center, where it all go down on the hardwood today. Good morning to you again, Antoinette.
Charles Barkley with the bad knees, and that's what's happening here. After my layup earlier, my knees are starting to go, so I know I need to just put it down. Yeah, Greg, I want you to take a look. This is what they're playing for. This is the trophy for the A10 Women's Championship, which will be tomorrow. And wouldn't it be nice if Richmond went against George Mason? Dennis Bickmeyer is joining us again. Wouldn't that be just the crown jewel?
Well, we got to get through today, so let's see. I think we're going to have two great matchups today.
Oh, man.
And then the final tomorrow.
Yeah, we should mention tickets are still available.
Absolutely. You come right here to the box office and get those.
Games are at 11?
Yes.
And 1:30?
Yes.
And then talk about what this has brought to the Henrico area. I know this is a big game for today, but it's also for tomorrow and for probably years to come, too.
Yeah, definitely. The A10 will be back again next year, and we're talking to them about an extension, which would be great.
Awesome.
Just the opportunity to continue to build on the foundation that we've established last year and this year. But the A10 stretches up and down the Mid-Atlantic and to the north, and St. Louis and Chicago. So we're in a lot of great markets. So they're talking about the Richmond region and all those markets, and getting their teams here for this tournament and for this championship, and the opportunity to not only win this, but then to go on to the NCAA tournament as well.
Absolutely. And I want to talk about the $30,000 that someone can win, but they have to be here. Registration ends tonight. Right?
That's correct.
How can they sign up, and what is it?
Yeah, you can register on our. We're in pre-game mode here,
yeah.
So, but yeah, you can register on the Atlantic 10 website for the Haley Automotive half-court shot. So that chance to, hit that half-court shot, win $30,000. You've seen a lot of those videos.
Yes.
People have been making that shot, we'll see what happens.
And then talk about the wheelchair tournament that's coming.
Yeah, so obviously this is a signature event, the Atlantic 10 Women's Basketball Championship, but we've got a few others too throughout the year. And obviously this is a busy facility with 46 weekends booked, but in less than a month, the National Wheelchair Basketball National Championship will be back here. And, with our partners at Sportable, but just an inspiring event as well. We had 5 athletes last year that went on to the Paralympic Games in Paris,
and
which was really amazing.
And before we go, Dennis has a challenge for Mike and Greg.
Oh, absolutely. I'm going to grab Parney. We're going to play a little 2-on-2, Greg and Mike. So get your basketball shoes and come on out here, and I'll grab Parney, and we'll challenge you guys.
All right, the challenge is out there, Greg and Mike.
Oh, let me tell you something. The challenge accepted. I don't know how good Mike is, but I know he's about 6'10".
Challenge accepted.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Let's do it. All right, Dennis, thanks so much. Antoinette, we appreciate you and we love you. Hey, whether you are a fan of daylight saving time or not, it's going to mess with your circadian rhythm. So AAA has some tips that we'll share with you about how to adjust to a darker morning commute for the next several weeks. Mike, that's not something that we have to worry about because it's always dark when we come in.
No, and I'm thinking maybe Parney versus the 3 of us because we'd be distracted by the pants. So I'm thinking 1-on-3 instead of 2-on-2. Anyway, I'm just thinking out loud. I'm just spitballing here. We have some sun outside right now. It's going to be a pretty decent weekend. A few clouds in some spots today. We'll chat about that and some warmer weather for the week ahead up next.
All right. Thank you so much, Mike. We are looking for Lola because we're going down to the Copacabana. That looks like a beautiful place there in Rio de Janeiro. And Mike, when he was living down there, weren't you known as the boy from Ipanema?
I was Rico. I wore a diamond.
Hey, for those of you who love trying to figure out how to set the clock on your VCR, you're in luck because this weekend marks the start of daylight saving time. Not daylight savings time, daylight saving time. And as much as many of us are looking forward to those later sunset, it can take a bit of a little time to get adjusted to the new time, and that's especially important when you're driving on the roadways.
Yeah, AAA says that you want to take some extra caution because your morning commute is now going to be darker for the next several weeks, and the risk of a crash goes up significantly when it's dark. Plus, there will be the couple of days of adjusting your sleep patterns and the internal clock. So some basic tips we're offering to keep in mind include making sure you get plenty of sleep, easier said than done. If you're going on a longer drive and you start to feel tired, pull over, take a break, and don't try to push through. And if you are safely pulled over at a rest stop, don't underestimate the power of a 20 to 30-minute nap. And also keep in mind for tomorrow, the kids are going to be at the bus stop, or for Monday at the bus stop, so it's going to be darker than it has been. But we switch ahead the clocks tonight. And what happens between the sunrise and sunset. Today, sunrise was at 6:30. It sets today at 6:10. Tomorrow, the sunrise is at 7:29, and the sunset is at 7:11, which is behind your booty right now. There you go. 7. There you go.
It's a big booty, baby.
Well, I didn't want to say it, but I was like, you're making a better door than a window because you're blocking the stuff.
That ain't no eclipse, baby.
No. You know what? A lot of people have asked, well, why don't we just stay on one of these versus the other? Well, if we stayed on daylight saving time all year, our latest sunrise here in Richmond would be 8:24. Our earliest sunset would be 5:51, so we get that time towards the end of the day. But in the western edges of the time zones, in some areas like Seattle, the sunrise would be around 9 a.m. And if we stayed on standard time all year, the earliest sunrise would be 4:48 in the summer, and our latest sunset would be 8:34. So that's the benefits and negatives for staying on one or the other. Outside now, we have plenty of sunshine. We're going to see some clouds increase. There's a little front here to the north and west, which is going to come through during the day today. We have a mix of some 30s and 40s right now with a few scattered clouds. There is some precipitation west of I-81. If you're heading to West Virginia and the mountains are going to see a little bit of snowfall accumulation today. For the rest of us, though, we're just going to see a little increase in clouds as the front moves through. There could be a sprinkle or an isolated shower in a couple spots today, but most of us are going to stay dry. The clouds will clear on out this evening and tonight. Tomorrow we'll see a good deal of sunshine, a few clouds, especially the farther south you are, but still a partly to mostly sunny day. And on Monday, a system's going to go to our south in North Carolina. That'll put in some extra clouds. There could be a couple showers near Southside Virginia. A couple models bring some of that rain up almost to the Tri-Cities. I think that might be a little too far north, but maybe from Route 58 and southward, we could have a couple showers on Monday. High temperatures today, a mix of 50s to the north and west to around 60 in the metro to some low mid 60s to the far south and west. Overnight tonight, we're back down into the 20s and 30s. For tomorrow, we have high temperatures away from the coast, upper 50s and low 60s. And then on Monday, some low 60s to the south, some mid to upper 60s to the north where we'll have more sunshine. Going in on Tuesday, 61 near the coast, upper 60s and low 70s elsewhere. And on Wednesday, a backdoor cold front's going to come through. So some 50s near the coast, some 70s in the metro, and some 80s to the south and west. Maybe a sprinkle in a spot or two today, maybe a shower in Southern Virginia Monday, and maybe a sprinkle or a light shower on Thursday. But a lot of us will make it through the next 7 days rain-free, and we have a nice little warmer stretch there Tuesday through Thursday. Upper 60s and 70s last through next weekend. Greg.
All right, Mike, thanks so much for the update. My friend, 744. It was an event he says was the honor of a lifetime. Up next in my I Have a Story, I speak to the Louisa County veteran who is reflecting on playing a part in a historic moment overseas. A Louisa County man is reflecting on a chapter in life when he was not only a witness to history, but an important part of it. In this extended version of my I Have a Story, photographer Cole Pearson and I want to introduce you to the veteran who says the unexpected milestone still touches his heart more than 6 decades later.
I was born 2 miles from here, and I've lived here. With the exception of the time I was away in the military, I've lived here all my life.
Courthouse Square in Louisa County.
About 3 memorial services here a year.
A place Harvey Fleshman knows well.
It says in memory of all veterans, U.S. Army, U.S. Navy, U.S. Air Force, U.S. Marines, U.S. Coast Guard.
The 85-year-old U.S. Navy veteran pays homage at the War Memorial on national holidays.
Dedicated November 11th, 2000.
Harvey's visits remind him of a time when he not only witnessed, but played a role in American history at another memorial far away.
It does, just totally. It's a feeling that nothing else could do for you.
While stationed in Germany, the Louisa native is selected for a special mission.
1960.
An order from the higher-ups he never expects.
Told me to get my blues and my whites and all the gear I needed to go on temporary duty, and I said when, and he said it'll be tomorrow or the next day.
The 21-year-old joins a special team.
It was a 7-man firing squad.
Their mission? Represent the U.S. Armed Forces during opening ceremonies at 5 American military cemeteries across France, Belgium, Luxembourg, and the Netherlands.
Oh, it was very solemn. Very solemn. You could hear a pin drop.
Crosses, standing silently, marked the final resting place of tens of thousands of American soldiers killed in action during World War II.
Every one of them was in pristine condition. I mean, it looked like the grass was cut with scissors and a comb.
The young soldiers at rest here never make it home, their families choosing to leave their loved ones in the countries they helped to liberate.
If you think about the camaraderie in the service, those guys were together right to the end. They died with their buddies.
Harvey Fleshman provides the 21-gun salute.
You just did what you had to do. It would come in a sequence of ready, aim, fire.
Moments captured in black and white.
This one is newspaper from Luxembourg, and it shows a different shot of the firing squad.
Harvey says he and his team strive for perfection.
It sends shockwaves through you that'll stay with you forever.
Downtime between ceremonies is dedicated to rehearsing.
You know the importance of it. It's a show of the ultimate respect.
The weight of the moment not lost on the servicemen from Virginia, far from home.
The number of father and sons or brothers is tough. Of course, nobody was paying attention to us. They were waiting for the volley, so if there were tears, it didn't matter.
Waves of emotion wash over the young sailor.
Just, you couldn't keep tears from rolling.
Countless Dutch, French, and Belgian citizens attend the ceremonies.
Boy Scouts and Cub Scouts and Girl Scouts paraded on to the cemetery and placed American flags and Belgian.
To this day, the cemeteries are cared for by the American Battle Monuments Commission. Harvey says the soldiers who gave all deserve eternal care.
Because the rights and privileges you have here wouldn't exist had they not gone there and won the war.
Mementos and keepsakes.
This is Henry Chappelle.
Trigger a flood of recollections for this widower and father of two.
We were right in the middle.
Harvey's odyssey in the summer of 1960 lasts only 3 weeks.
The greatest one of my life.
But the memories still reverberate across the decades.
There's not any other honor that'll ever compare. It was part of doing my part. I wouldn't trade it.
Harvey Fleshman, a Navy veteran who not only witnessed American military history, but played a small role in it.
Presentation of floral tributes, benediction, volleys, and taps.
A duty he still holds close to his heart 65 years later.
It's an experience you never expect, and it's also one that's cherished too.
For I Have a Story.
It's the greatest honor that I've ever had, for sure.
I'm Greg McQuaid, CBS 6 News.
After his 6 years in the military, he spent a career at the Dominion Motor Vehicles in Virginia. Mr. Fleshman, thank you so much for serving and sharing your story. We'll be right back.
Good morning. Meet Erica, a sassy 4-year-old affectionate girl adoptable from Garfield's Rescue. She's very chatty and loves to give love and attention to her caregiver. She would prefer to be the only cat in the house as she is charmingly bossy. Her mom was sadly unable to take her with her when she had to move into an assisted living facility that does not allow pets. Erica is a free spirit and loves to explore and find a comfortable napping spot. She would love to have her own person again to give love and enjoyment to. If you are interested in giving Erica a forever home that she deserves, please send an email to garfieldsrescue@gmail.com. I'm Mike Goldberg with this morning's Pause for Pets.
Coming up at 10, Battle of the Brains presented by Invest 529. Hey, if you're looking for some memorabilia that could turn some heads, and if you happen to have a lot of extra change in that couch cushion, this next story is for you. Rookie jerseys worn by Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant could sell for a covillion $10 million a piece when they go up for auction this spring. For context, that's roughly $9.5 million more than an autographed vinyl from Mike and I's album of Hall & Oates covers.
You did a great version of Maneater. The jerseys mark the Hall of Famer debuts. Jordan from his first preseason game in 1984 and Bryant in his first preseason and regular season games in 1996. The basketball legends wore the jerseys in the first NBA games of their careers. They'll be exhibited to the public at Sotheby's in New York starting on March 21st.
We're going to auction off our suits that we first wore back in 2011?
Yeah, you get about $2.
Yeah. A piece?
Lovely pleather that we wore then.
How's the weather looking?
We're going to have a few clouds today, maybe a couple sprinkles, but generally a dry weekend. And don't forget to spring forward the clocks tonight. And if you are so kind, join us tomorrow at 6 a.m.
All right. Thanks so much for joining us. Have a great day.
Bye.